going to be speaking with Hugh from worldtribe.one today. It's the very first interview for this channel. Go over to worldtribe.one and check it out. Especially one of the things that caught my attention was this article here, How to Grow Microgreens at Home, because my wife does that. And he talks about meditation as well. So check it out if that's your thing. Also, we met years ago through Trading Heroes, I think. I don't exactly remember how we met. But go over to Trading Heroes if you are in the trading world like Hugh and I are, and you can see what he has to offer. Let's jump right into the interview. Here we go. I think we are live. All right. My name is Ryan Herron, and I'm speaking with Hugh Kimura, and this is just an impromptu little interview here. And I want to tell you a story. First of all, before I get into it too much, Hugh is just a good friend. I don't even remember where we met, but we met in the trading world. He's got a site called Trading Heroes, and I believe I met him through there maybe. And then over the years, we've just started talking about some things referring to energy healing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, hi, Hugh. How are you, sir?
Hey, Ryan. Good to see you again.
You too, man. The last time me and Hugh talked, we were in a little meeting over at Online Trading Academy. We just sat down and just talked for a little while, and now we're talking about something totally different, which you may see it on your screen right now. It's called the Neurophone. We're going to get into that, and we're going to get into something called the God Helmet, which I don't know. I'm not sure what the God Helmet is, but we will find out. So just a little background about this channel. It's really new. There's literally no subscribers right now, but here recently, I was listening to a hemisync by the Monroe Institutue, and I wanted to find out what the CIA investigated on them, because I'd heard a lot on the internet about, oh, the CIA came to these conclusions, yada, yada, yada. Well, I wanted to know for sure. I wanted to read the report, but it's really long. It takes like an hour and a half to read the whole thing, and I didn't want to read it. So I found a guy on the internet that read it, and I listened to it, and I thought, you know what? I need to start investigating a little bit more into the actual reports from the NIH, the CIA, or any other government body, because I want to find out what people actually know and what is the actual research being done on energy healing and things of the weird. We're looking at the science behind everything, and if it cannot be proven by science, I'm just going to disregard it. So that's where we are today. Now, Hugh told me about something called the Neurophone here recently, and I started investigating it, and it sounds really, really neat. So, Hugh, can you tell me just a little bit about your background in anything that you do? And you can bring up the any topic whatsoever, but what's your background in anything referring to meditation or energy healing or cleaning anything in your body through some type of energy?
Yeah, sure. I guess it started off with my dad. My dad's he does a lot of experimentation in this stuff. He's an Aikido teacher, like a fifth level black belt in traditional Japanese Aikido. So he's into all this kind of stuff, and he does some of the energy healing also. For me, my primary interest in it was fixing some of the psychology in my everyday life, certain roadblocks that I felt that I had, that no matter what I did with the NLP and all that, positive affirmation type stuff, I just couldn't get past. So that was really, I felt holding me back in life and holding me back in trading. So I really went into, okay, does this stuff happen? What are some of the sources of this stuff? And so I started experimenting with all this type of stuff. I did some energy healing through the ClairVision school. Basically like a meditation type thing where they release some of your traumas, or they try to release all of your traumas. And that's the bottom line, I believe, is that everything, all diseases, all addictions, all mental blocks, or not all mental blocks, but a lot of the deeper ones are caused by some sort of trauma. And that can come from three places, basically. Either environmental, so some type of environmental toxin, or if you got into a physical accident from your own life, your childhood all the way up until present day, something might have happened that caused trauma, and then there could have been some sort of inherited trauma, which can come from your family line. In my case, it was my great grandfather on my father's side, and it could also be inherited from past lives if you believe in that type of thing. But I found it to be true personally. So yeah, I've been experimenting with all this type of stuff. I've done some ayahuasca also, some what's the other one? San Pedro, and
Well, the ayahuasca, you did that at the retreat. I cannot think of what's the name of the place?
yeah, Rythmia and the ClairVision energy healing were the most significant things for me. And those two things for me were the biggest game changers and really shifted my mentality um, towards this type of stuff. Before I didn't, I thought, okay, maybe it might help a little bit, but the level of change that this creates is pretty amazing.
Now, when you're speaking about the level of change, let's go to the Rythmia school, because that was pretty recent. You went down there and did an ayahuasca few days down there, and then whenever you finished, I spoke to you, and you were just really excited about the experience. Can you spend a minute or two speaking about the experience and how it may have helped?
Yeah, sure. They do basically two types of treatment. One is breath work, which can induce a state that's similar to ayahuasca, and then they have 4 ayahuasca ceremonies. So that basically, helps you work on your trauma, any type of trauma, be it your current life, your inherited trauma, whatever it is. And yeah, just a really cool way to do it. A lot of people think that you have to be like so-called quote authentic to do authentic ceremonies, to go into the jungle and sleep in a tent or whatever. But this is the kind of the opposite of that experience. It's more like a luxury, luxury hotel. There's air conditioning. There's great food. And yeah, there's a pool, hot tub, sauna, all that type of stuff.
Cool.
So it's a really good experience.
When you spoke about the breath work that can mimic some of the psychedelic experiences of ayahuasca, I'll tell you right now that I'm doing a breath work. It's through Somabreathe, and some of the things that happen in the breath work just blow my mind. So anybody that wants to try out breath work, there's different kinds. There's holograph, what do you call it? Holotropic. You got Soma. There are Tumo meditations, and Wim Hof has his way of breathing. The breath is just insane when it comes to meditating. But that's just a side note. I really want to. I really want to talk about the Neurophone, and I appreciate you talking about Rythmia and ClairVision. I'm going to look up those two when we're done. But let's just go ahead and get into the Neurophone, because I want to know exactly how this works. What does it actually do? Because when you're searching on the internet, it's kind of hard to find out what does this thing actually do. So, what's your thoughts about the Neurophone?
Yeah, there isn't too much about it. Just a little background on it. It was invented by Patrick Flanagan, who died, I think it was in January of this year, really recently. He came up with all these amazing inventions. I think at the age of 16, he invented something that would detect ballistic missiles. So the government actually, obviously became very interested in him as a kid. And he took out this patent on the Neurophone, and he had it taken away actually by the government. What it does is it basically allows you to number one, get into an alpha state, which is a good state for learning. And number two, he actually had the patent for helping deaf people hear. So what this does is it bypasses your regular hearing, your eardrums and whatever, and it gets to the saccules in your ears, and that allows you to hear things without actually receiving it in your eardrums. So it's kind of like it can be a subliminal way to pass information into your brain.
When you're talking about hearing without, like, deaf people hearing, are you talking about like hearing like like vibrations from a low beat, like you do like with music, or can you actually hear actual words, or what can you hear?
I've never actually spoken to a deaf person who actually used this, but apparently he went down to the patent's office because they didn't believe him, and there was a deaf person there, and he could actually hear the voices and actually hear the music.
So you use this when you meditate, correct?
Yeah, I've been using it for meditation. I actually fed in the Joe Dispenza meditations that we've been talking about.
Which one?
Uh,
I like them.
the last two, blessing of the energy centers.
Oh, I love those. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it actually got me to a deeper level by using this Neurophone.
Now, whenever you're meditating with the blessings of the energy centers, and for anybody that don't know, Joe Dispenza, I'm just going to look him up here. Joe Dispenza, he is right here. He's got some meditations, and they work. I've used most of his meditations. I've never went to a retreat because they are quite expensive. But as far as his meditations are concerned, he's got something called the blessings of the energy centers. Now, what this does, just go Google him. Anyways, the blessings of the energy centers. It takes you from some people call it, the root chakra. He calls it the energy center #1, all the way up through your chakras from, down near your pelvic area, up through your stomach and your chest and your throat and your head, and then #8 would be above your head. It's go Google chakras, and you'll understand kind of what I'm talking about there. But it cleanses, and when I say cleanse, when you're doing the meditation, you really have to surrender to the meditation. And when you do that, maybe on day one you're not going to feel anything or feel anything, but as you do it over and over and over, you get into a rhythm and you start to see these little things that happen. And before long, some people have reported full-blown out-of-body experiences. I have not received that. What my experience is my body will vibrate, and it's not like a vibrate where you're shaking, which I do that, but that's not the part I'm talking about. When I'm talking about the body vibrating, it's kind of like every cell comes and goes in waves, and it helps me with some of the physical ailments that I've been going through recently. So I'm interested in trying out the Neurophone to see how it helps. So if I'm going to use the Neurophone here, um, with Dr. Joe Dispenza or any other meditation, kind of on a scale of 1 to 10, regular meditation versus the meditation with the Neurophone, is it like extremely more powerful, or
I believe so. I mean, for me it was. I don't know how it would be for other people, but I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say they improved it about to a 8 or 9.
oh really?
Yeah.
So give me like an example of like if you're going into blessing your energy center 1 down near your pelvic muscles. Normally for me, it's about, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes on average. And I don't really, at that point in the meditation, which is at the very beginning, I don't really feel very much. I'm kind of just getting into that relaxed state. So if I were to be using the Neurophone, would it be more kind of like uh, later on in the meditation when you're really into it and you're in that zone, like early on? Does it work kind of like that?
Yeah, for me it's more not so much in the first 3 energy centers, but then it starts to kick in when you hit the heart, and then that's where I notice the difference, where it's a more of a more expanded awareness
Okay.
once you get higher up in the chakras.
Okay. Does it have anything does it affect any type of visuals that you may see?
Um, what I found is I don't see visuals. I'm just not that type of a person,
Mm-hmm.
at least at this point. So I don't see any visuals, but it's definitely a bigger awareness for me, and I get the vibrations like you do, like very subtle vibrations, but it can be very intense, and they go from the root all the way up my back.
Oh yeah.
So
Cool. Yeah, some of the vibrations. Now, I have 2 types of vibrations. I've got the inner body vibrations, which are like waves that flow, and then I've got the actual Well, where you can actually see it. My wife, she'll laugh at me from time to time because I'll be laying in the bed, I'll tell her I'm going to go meditate, and she's like, "Have fun," because she'll walk in and I'll be all, ooh, and so yeah, I may look deeper into this Neurophone, because there are some papers on the internet, and we're gonna dive into it after I get off of here. I'll put some things in the show notes about some of the research behind it. But another thing that I want to talk to you about, and I appreciate you bringing this up, I want to talk to you about the God helmet. Now, I've heard about this thing. Um, which one are you referring to? Are you referring to this or something different?
No, the second one, the Shiva. So that's one of his Parsinger's students who created that, and you can replicate the the patterns of the God helmet through that.
Now, from what I know about the God helmet, I read a report where this guy went into this chamber, put on the helmet, and he felt what he said was the presence of God. Is that pretty much what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the studies show that only about 1% of the people actually get that experience. I think it's
Hmm.
1%, but yeah, some people have reported the presence of Christ, the Christ energy, and if not that, then some sort of presence, maybe like a spirit or something in the room.
Is it a scary spirit experience?
For a couple people, it was, yeah,
Yeah.
but for most people, it was seemed to be a very nice experience.
What's your experience with it?
I've used it twice so far, and I haven't really experienced a whole lot with it. I think I have to do more sessions, but you can only do it once a week, so I've only done 2 sessions so far.
Okay. All right. Because I want to research this as well, because anything that has any type of science behind it, I want to research it. But when I'm researching it, I dig as far as I can dig, because I don't take just other people's word for it. I want to find out, what can be replicated and what can be, well, if it can be replicated, it's science. So I'm going to do some more digging on this as well, because I want to learn. In your first experience on the first one, um, did I mean, were there any profound effects other than feeling some type of entity? But what other types of what did you experience? Was there anything whatsoever?
Uh, on the first one, I felt a little tired, actually. So it kind of helped me pause, and it made me a little reflective. So um, that was the first one. See what happens after that. But
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look into it as well. And so we've spoke about quite a bit today, and it's really just going to get the ball rolling on some research that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to look at everything that we have spoke about. I'm really interested in the research on this neurophone, because the story behind it is really neat, and I'm going to put everything in the show notes whenever I put this out on YouTube. But one of the things is, I'm going to come back to you here in a couple of weeks, Hugh, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I found. As far as whenever I'm digging into the research, I try to go as far as possible. Like, for instance, this week there was a report that came out and said something like, and I cannot remember it now that we're live on camera, but anyways, I started digging into it, and it seems to be true, and I'm going to put that report out on a video in later next week as well.
cool.
So we have 0 subscribers. I think we have like 5 subscribers right now, and we're just getting this ball rolling. So maybe in the future we'll put together more than an impromptu interview. But I do appreciate you speaking about this a little bit, and we'll see where it goes from here. Do you have anything else to say about the Neurophone or the God helmet or any other spiritual experience, and especially if it pertains to scientific testing or research or anything like that?
No, that's about it right now. If you're interested, we can do like some side by side comparisons too on anything else that you want to try out.
Oh, I'm going to try out a lot. I'm jumping into the rabbit hole right now,
So, okay.
because, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna. I just did a little review on something called the Kundalini activation process. Now, earlier in the year, I was told about, or I found on the internet, I don't know how I found out about it, but I found out about something called the Kundalini activation process. And I have always thought Kundalini, yeah, whatever, that's a big, joke. It's nothing, it's just people in their own head or whatever. And then I went to the Conscious Life Expo and I tried it and I was just freaking blown away, man. Snot running down my face, hands flailing all in the air. And I thought, wow, what was that? That cannot be real. So I wanted to know if it was true or not in my head because I'm kind of a freak. So I got my wife to go with me to a private session. Same thing happened to her, and she's like a hard hitter. If something's BS, she's going to tell you. So that started me down this road of I have got to find out what all of this is about because you know energy healing has helped me far more than any doctors and any hospitals whatsoever. So I'm sorry, there's something to it. We're going to get into it. Hey man, thank you for doing this with me, and I may holler at you again in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me, and yeah, let me know if you want to do any experiments and publish the
Oh,
results or whatever.
I will hold you to that. We're going to do an experiment. I've got some experiments lined up, actually, some really simple experiments, and I just need to find enough people to do it. I'm looking for some people like me and you that kind of believe in some of this stuff. I'm looking for some open-minded skeptics, you know, not the skeptics that try to get on Facebook and tell you you're just full of crap all the time. I want some open-minded skeptics, people that think, could it be true? I want to just follow the data. So when we get all that together, we'll start doing some experiments and whatnot.
Okay, cool. Sounds great.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you, and I will talk to you next time.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks,
All
Ryan.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.